Well, gang, I'm gonna start this off. Just do a quick introduction, lead it into Ian and what he's going to talk about. But yeah, I am wearing this for a reason. I am going to talk a little bit about the Monday night football game, and there is a Curari angle to this. You know, Monday night. Some of you know, some of you don't. I'm a diehard Minnesota Vikings fan. Monday night, we played our season opener against the Bears, and we were getting our butts kicked. The Bears were handing it to us. I think I started calling for the backup quarterback in the second quarter. It was bad. And then all of a sudden, the fourth quarter, the kid rolls around. The kid, our rookie quarterback, comes back to life, and we ended up pulling out a victory. From what I've heard is, the kid was really poised. He didn't get down on himself. Most guys would have been like, "I'm playing terrible. Our team's playing terrible. We're just going to map it in. We're going to just mail it in, and we're going to just be, that's a loss." But the kid, from what I understood, had a lot of composure. He had a lot of belief, a lot of faith in what he was doing. His teammates did the same around him, and he just kept plugging away, kept pushing away, and he ended up, pulling it out, and it could springboard them into something good. We'll see. But the analogy um, to Curari is that all of us at some point are going to have down periods. All of us at some point are not going to have maybe the most stellar of years where the year hasn't gone how we wanted. But I use that analogy because we, like the Vikings on Monday night, are entering soon into the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter is coming up. And I just want to encourage everyone that if your year hasn't gone as well as you wanted to, that the fourth quarter it's still an opportunity for you to turn maybe a year that's been lower than your expectations into a year that could turn out to be, maybe not your record-setting year, but you could salvage the year, and it could turn out to still be a good year. So the year's not over yet. If there's anything you can do going into the fourth quarter, keep that belief up, keep that faith up, and just know that we as a team are going to be there to support you and pull you through to the end. Because the great news is not only if you've had maybe a less than stellar 2025, not only can you turn that around and still make it a good year, but the best thing about the fourth quarter is what it can propel you to for next year. Like with our team, it could propel us to have a good rest of the year because of just what it can do. For you guys, it can propel you to have a very, very strong fourth quarter to not only have a good end to the year, but also have a great start to 2026 because none of us wants to be behind the eight ball to start the year. So the effort and time that you put into the fourth quarter can definitely propel you into next year and to finish off your year strong. So I just wanted to encourage you all to go into this fourth quarter guns blazing, to utilize us, to utilize your managers, to help you in every possible way to just have an awesome rest of your year. So in saying that, I'm really excited to turn this over to Ian, and he's going to give a great demonstration on a new tool that's going to be utilized for RMS. So Ian, take it away.
Thanks, Jeremiah. Appreciate that. Yeah, and one thing I'll add is we do have the luxury here of if you just put your head down and work really hard for a couple weeks, you can have everything on your desk do a 180 at that point if you just really stay focused and stay disciplined. So, the fourth quarter literally is coming up, but if you take that same mentality that Jeremiah is referencing here, if you're feeling behind, you can get things turned around quickly. Okay, jumping in here. So everyone saw the document that I sent out here, and so we're always looking for ways to try to make the user experience better with the database. Also looking for ways to help make you more efficient, more effective, kind of streamline some processes. So one of the things that we're rolling out today to help with all of that is something that we're calling the RDF report, or the required daily follow-up report. Okay, so in essence, what this report is it's going to show you all of the sendouts and name clearance emails that are present in your homepage with just a click. So if everyone here can just take a moment, go to their homepage, you're going to see a box that says activity status. Okay, so I'm going to kind of walk everybody through this, and I think this is going to be pretty straightforward. This might actually end up being one of our shorter roundtables, but would love any questions and anything we can talk about. But once you've all gone to your home page and you're looking at this, all right, you'll see that activity status box on the top right side, kind of underneath where the production report is. So everybody go ahead and click on the sendouts tab. Okay. So let me pull up my my home page here. I can do a screen share as well. Now I don't have the same volume of activity that everybody else does here. Everyone can see my screen okay? Yep, good deal. All right, so clicking on this this sendouts tab, all right, this shows me the 5 active sendouts that I currently have for all the doctors in my homepage, okay? This report only shows what's on your homepage. It doesn't show historical data. That's what we have the open sendout and open name clearance emails reports for, so you can audit your work every once in a while, see if maybe you get lucky with the found placement, right? Pick something up where it left off. So a couple things to note here. Number one, let's say I want to follow up on Dr. Heather Gooley, or rather this is a mid-level provider, excuse me, so NP Heather Gooley. All I have to do is click on her name, and it's going to take me right to her Physician's Futures tab, where I see this is the sendout that I've performed, okay? So very easily tracking my data, okay? Now, from here, I can jump into the physician, the job record, right? I can make my call to my client, trying to push things forward, okay? It also, when this report, try not to jump around in tabs too much, but going back to the home page, you'll see it also identifies the job ID number, right? So with this here, you can very easily then in a separate page or tab, however you want to do it, I will have my email up on a different screen than my database with my setup. Go to your Outlook email, search for this ID number, and you'll be able to find the most recent communication that's referencing this particular sendout. Okay. At that point, once you've made your call, you've resent your sendout, whatever your follow-up is, that's where you've got an opportunity to record that right from this report. You don't actually have to go back to the Physician Futures to do that. You still can. We've not eliminated that option, but you're able to do that right here from this report. So I could simply click on email, and you see where it's going to note that that happened on the 12th, okay? Now, if I close this report, I go to Heather here, you'll see, let me refresh this one moment, that it's created this note for me here, followed up by email. So all I had to do was a single click to put a note in there, okay? The other thing I want you to notice here is I'll go back to my sendout report on my homepage. Heather's no longer here. As soon as you take the conversion action, you follow up, it drops it out of this report for the day. When does it come back? Tomorrow, for you to follow up again. Okay, so this is going to make it really easy to keep track of your clearances and your sendouts, follow up on them every day, which we know we want you to do. That's how you create a sense of urgency and you make things happen on your timetable, right, versus somebody else's. It's also going to ensure you're not missing things, right? We all know how easy it is to get spread across a bunch of different tasks throughout the day. This is going to allow, when that happens, because things come at you, this is going to allow you to jump right back to this report and continue working down the list. Okay, now here's another cool thing that we've put in here. Okay, Dr. Patel. I know what's going on with Dr. Patel right now is she's got a call on the 15th with their clinical director. Okay, so there's really nothing for me to follow up on today to move the process forward. There's no action I can take. Like, it's not going to happen sooner than the 15th. That's set. Okay, so now what I can do is I can come over to this schedule box. I can click in here and I can put the 15th and say follow up on phone call with director and doc. So now I click OK. The note's been entered. Just get out of this report. I'm going to go to Monica Patel. I'm going to go to her Physician Futures. And now we see a note here for the 15th that says action scheduled. Follow up on phone call with director and doc. I'm going to go back to the report. You'll see here that Monica's not on here anymore. And she won't reappear tomorrow. She'll reappear on the 15th when I need to take that action. And it's for that particular job. So let's say there were 3 other sendouts for Patel or clearances that I needed. Those are coming back the following day. Okay. The same, we have very similar functionality with name clearance emails. I'm going to pop into that report right now. A few, not quite as many options here, but same deal where if I need to follow up on Heather's clearance, okay, I can click on this, make sure, if I need to review it, I can. But one of the coolest things about this, you guys, is that I don't necessarily have to go into my physician futures to complete the actions that I need, right? I could just be here, click on Coastal Carolina Family Practice. Oh, looks like we got a broken link. Uh-oh, we found our first bug. But ideally, you're able to go to the client record, find the phone number, make the call, right? Let's say I click phone, I click email. I'm done with that for the day. Okay, I know Heather's off my list. Now I go down to her record down here, and I'm able to see followed up by email. Okay, so I hesitate to say it, but I don't think this is that complicated. And my hope is that this is a system that can allow everybody to really work through all the kind of required daily follow-up that you need to do every day to push the pace, right? Now, some of you are going to have far more sendouts and clearances in your activity status than I do, all right? So the other element here is that you want to keep these reports clean. If you've got clearances and sendouts that are old, that haven't been marked dead, no interest, dead post sendout, this is going to force you to make that happen. Because by the end of the day, what you want to see on these reports are no records. You want them zeroed out by the end of the day, every day. And if you do this every day, you guys, your results are going to get better. I can't make a lot of guarantees, but this is one of them that I can make because I know that things can fall through the cracks. And this is going to prevent that from happening. Very straightforward reports, but I'm extremely excited about this because I think this is something that simplifies this process. Rather than going here or there or having a whole bunch of different things open, you pull up this report, it gives you the directions you need, you work top down, you can schedule something out in the future. It's great. So that's kind of the whole kit and caboodle here, guys, the whole enchilada, as they might say. I could probably come up with a few more analogies, but I'm going to refrain from doing so at this point before people's eyes start rolling back in their heads. So I guess this would be a good time for me to say, are there any questions? Sweet. Awesome.
I do have a quick question, Ian.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as far as if like, you click the followed up by email, say you do get a response from the client when you get that follow up, say it's a send out per se, you've already done the send out, you've hit the follow up button, you get a response from the client as to action going to be taken moving forward. So can you pop into that future and edit that note where it says followed up by email? And, is it work like any other note in the future where it's editable? Just, they come back to give you a response, you can go into there and say, hey, client responded to
sure does. So if I wanted to delete that note, I can do it.
Cool.
Then I can add a new one. Yep. So all the same functionality within Physician Futures still exists. Nothing's changed there. We elected to have them drop off the list. So like what you mentioned, Evan, you use this report, you follow up on something, that doc drops out. Now that same job action comes back later in the day. Okay, the reason we're not leaving it on that report is because we want you to be able to kind of finish what you start. So at that point, you just need to go back to the physician record like you normally do now and put in an amended note. Okay,
good deal.
But good question.
Yeah, Ian, it seems like all the comments are extremely positive. Everyone's just commenting is like, this is awesome, which I fully agree.
Yeah.
This is really, really, really good.
Yeah, I'm really stoked, and courtesy of Tadas as well, putting this together for us, and that kind of brings me to another point that I want to make is, us having an in-house programmer allows us to be pretty mobile with what we can do and changes we can make and ideas that we have. And I was talking with Jerry about this the other day. he and I and several other people at Curari have been here a very, very long time, right? We've looked at this database for years and years and years. And so I think for a lot of our newer folks that haven't had kind of such a myopic view of this, I'm really curious as you begin to use the database more, this report, other things. We want your feedback. We want your opinions on things that could make your job easier, better, could improve your user experience. Anything of that nature that you can think of, we're like, hey, if I had this tool, if I had this report, it'd make things easier for me, make it better. Keep those ideas coming. You guys, that's what this is all about. You know, we're a relatively small company, and one of the things I love about that is there aren't any barriers between you going to your manager or whoever and throwing out some ideas. There's not a lot of red tape. You got to write a proposal, and then it goes to review board, right? We're not getting you credentialed at a hospital here, okay? It's pretty easy. So just make sure you're keeping us in the loop for any ideas that you have that can be improvements on what we've got, because we certainly want to try to create more tools like this.
I think this is an excellent tool. This is going to be so helpful. I know for me, for sure, especially. Just to level this up some, eventually, is there a way to tie in RMS through our Outlook emails to where, you know, if it's a send out, usually the general question is, hey, can we set up a phone call, or is it round two? You know, in my head, I'm thinking, is there a way to track it to, you know, be able to auto trigger an email if you just push that button and it just follow up with a general message to the appropriate person eventually? I don't know. Is that a thing that has been thought of?
For sure. I mean, that's we want to be able to integrate Outlook, and you know, with my very limited knowledge of it, I'm about as far from a programmer as you can get. Okay, but pretty much anything is possible, right? So can we do that? Yes. It's a matter of figuring out how to integrate that with what we have right now and the code that we're using right now. But it's a great question, Peter, and certainly I foresee something in the future where maybe even within this report or a variation of it, you're able to click email, and then the email pops up that you can then just forward, or it might even forward it for you, right? Now, one of the things there that we all know is we need to keep it in the same email string, right? We can't be sending a clearance and it looks like it's the first one. Then, because we all know how easily people can get confused. They're like, oh, I cleared this with somebody 2 weeks ago. You're like, yeah, it was me. You cleared it with me 2 weeks ago, right? So that's one of the things there, but those are things that we're looking at, Peter. Yes, how can we integrate that? And in the same way that, you know, how could we create, you know, right now we've got kind of this basic scheduler for clearances and send outs follow up, right? But there's a lot of other tasks that you might want to tie to a calendar reminder. Okay, we'd like to see that plugged into a physician's record. Right? There's an action you need to take for a doc, click a button, out the calendar pops up, pick a date, sets a reminder in your Outlook to, let's say, send out the second half of an invoice or confirm a physician's start date, stuff like that, just a couple clicks away, right? So yeah, definitely those are things we're looking at and we're talking about, Peter. Appreciate you bringing that up.
And
Thanks,
Peter,
Ian.
I'll add two here that we don't want to take you out of the job. You know, I mean, we probably could have a nice, easy follow-up button where it's a follow-up after the send-out, but I think that's a much more appropriate area and thing to do during the name-clearing email phase where your sales skills aren't quite as needed. But once it gets to the send-out phase, and I know I've talked to you personally about this a lot, but everybody should know this, that's when you get to play the game and consult and make your candidate stand out above the rest. And I'll tell you one thing. An email is one of the easiest pieces of communication to blow off, especially if you're getting 100 plus emails a day. It's really easy to just ignore your email. And as they continue to see the same word tracks, the same types of pitches in an automated email, I think it's even going to be even less effective at that phase of the game. With that said, I think the next phase of this report, imagine going to your name clearing emails and just hitting a button, send all, click the ones that you don't want to send that you might need to personalize a little bit more. And then RMS already has 3 to 5 word tracks for each of the resendings. Like the second resending would be, hey, I already sent this once yesterday. Or the first resending could be 4 hours after you send it and be like, hey, just want to make sure this hit your inbox. Day 2, hey, I sent this over to you yesterday. Day 3, hey, this is my 3rd attempt, blah, blah, blah. And we come up with like 5 or 6 word tracks, because that's where we could take your consultative skills out of the equation sometimes. I mean, being a wingman with a phone call on a name clearing email never hurts the process. I'll say that. It never hurts the process. So again, our job title is consultant. So you guys got to keep consulting. That's where your bread is buttered, in my opinion. So we'll try to make this as efficient and easy as possible to make sure that you hit all these points where you could keep activity brewing, so you could use your skills to set up interviews and close deals.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's going to free up some time by being able to work through this system. And I mean, just like Jerry's saying, you get a chance. And I know it can feel cumbersome because you think to yourself, I'm going to make this phone call and this person's not going to answer the phone. So I'm just going to send this email instead. I would really encourage you to not fall into that trap. You make 20 calls. I would say you're fortunate if you talk to 2 people on the client side. I would think most of us would think that's probably accurate. Maybe get lucky and it's a few more, okay? But those 2 calls, even if it's 1 call, could produce new jobs, updated jobs, a bumped CFA, bonus addendum. You could be calling on your clearance and you're like the virtual cover letter for your doc, talking them up, getting the client excited, getting the client to commit to calling them as soon as they've got the CV, right? These are things that need to be done. And if you're just kind of like going through the motions with sending the emails, you're just not nearly as persuasive as you could be. And the reason why you're all here at Curari is because we all believe in your ability to do that, to be persuasive. So make sure you're utilizing those skills every chance you get. Your results will improve if you're doing that consistently.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So say you have a name clearing email you send out yesterday afternoon, whatever the case is. You come in the morning, you haven't pulled up your report yet, but then you get a clearance. So you pop into the physician's tab, change that from name clearing email, put in there that the provider's been cleared, and then you click it to send out. Is that immediately going to integrate back to the report? So then when you pop that report up, that provider or that task will then now have been eliminated, if that makes sense.
That does make sense, Mitch. And I believe right now the answer is no to that integration. But that's part of the reason why we're having this conversation after this little run through, is to think about, are there things that maybe we've missed? And so I think that's something where we can definitely look at that. I'm certain that that's something that Tadas would be able to figure out for us, that, if a note goes in there, it could remove it. I think, as I say that out loud though, Mitch, I can see reasons why we wouldn't want that to happen, because maybe the note that you put in isn't necessarily related to your follow-up of clearance or send out. It could be something else. Like, I don't know. But let me kind of think about that and see how we can try to integrate that, because that's a really good point.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just curious. I had one that just came through. It was cleared, so I popped into the physician tab, changed it from name clearing email to send out. So I'd have to check and see if was on. I haven't looked, but if that now takes it off the report, because I made a note for today, cleared via the point of contact, whoever it is, and switched it from name clearing email to send out. So, and I can look and see if it's on my, maybe it's on my send out side,
Yeah, I don't know, but that's a good, yeah, I've got that on the list. I took note of that. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
One thing kind of hand in hand with that I was thinking of is if you get like a follow up on a send out, from the day prior. So you send a follow up email the day prior, you come through, you get that follow up. I mean, could you just hypothetically go in there, click, the email checkbox for if somebody sends you an incoming email, you could select the email checkbox so that it'll get it off your task list. Just pop it into that doc's futures and edit it to what you received on the response. So it moves it off the task list, and then you get the appropriate note in there.
Yep. And for the clearances, we don't really have an option to enter a manual note, because it's not really, it's just like followed up, But for send outs, within that you can type a note that exists. So what you're saying, Evan, is if in that scenario, if you haven't taken any action on that doc yet, you go to the report, you just type in a note. You don't even have to do voicemail or email. Close it, the note gets entered.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, if nobody
yeah,
else
guys,
has anything else, this is pretty much it for me. And like I said, make one of the goals I want everybody to have next week is to get their reports clean. I know we've all probably got some straggler send outs, clearances out there that need to be pushed to dead, whatever it is. Make a point of trying to get those completed by the end of next week at the latest. That way, as you're moving through, your clearance and send out report reflects exclusively what's on your homepage that you need to take action on.
and
That's all I got.
one thing I like to emphasize what Ian said too is as you guys start playing with this, please give feedback to your managers or just whoever. That way, some of the feedback it would be things that we can improve upon, make it even better. New systems roll out, and there's always tweaks that need to be made to make it even better. So yeah, please do play with it and give your suggestions back to the management team and to make it even better for us. All right, gang. Well, hey, next week, this is going to be a little bit shorter roundtable this week. Next week, we've got a different kind of roundtable coming up. Sammy and the marketing team are going to be doing a roundtable, and they're going to be doing an informational session about marketing, what services they provide to recruiters, what opportunities there are for them when marketing their jobs, what value we can provide, and give them an overview of the day-to-day in the department with ad response, marketing, and etc. So I look forward to that roundtable. And since we've got some additional time, does anyone have anything else they want to bring up? Any questions, just in general? Any of the management want to bring anything up about?
I'll just say I just checked on Mitch's question, and Mitch, I think your doc is now in your send out list. I mean, I think this is like
I was
a
gonna
live.
say
Yeah,
in
they
real
just
time.
pull, yeah.
It just went to my send out, so it's at the very top.
Yep.
For today's date. Now it's in a send out task, but I just got the clearance and then sent it out. So I don't know if I go in there and just put like email or. So yeah, it just switched it from one report to the next and just added on to my send out report.
Yeah, I think I kind of misunderstood your question. Yeah, so once that happens, and thank you for confirming, Dave. So yeah, once it goes to send out, like you've completed it, how do you get that off the list? So I mean, you could do voicemail, email. That might be something for us to think about. Maybe there's a way to manually drop those. What I might suggest in that scenario, Mitch, is to use the scheduler, right? Because you just did the send out today. Use the scheduler for follow up on Monday, and that'll drop it off your list.
Out. Okay. I'm curious too if it were to go from name clearing email to send out, if anything for today's date in that case might move to the next business day's date or the following day, if that makes sense. So it doesn't add immediately to the list. Because yeah, I've taken all the action I need for today. Now I got to go in here to get it off my list for the send outs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll make a note to follow up on Monday so it re-pops up, of course, with follow up.
Yep.
But yeah, it just kind of went from one list to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done everything I need to do at this point. So
yeah. Okay.
One thing Ian mentioned too that I want to also emphasize is how the value for everyone and the results that this is going to provide. I know that I presented several times what I believe the 7 steps to every sale, and that was the 7th being the most important is the first is the follow-up. And I believe for myself and everyone else that the better your follow-up is, the more diligent you are with it, it's guaranteed the results are going to be better. What the degree of that is, to be seen, but there's absolutely no debate that following up more efficiently and effectively is going to help you guys a lot. So I'm so thrilled about this because it's just going to help everyone follow up more effectively, efficiently, and accurately. So yeah, super, super excited, and please do it because it's going to help you a lot. So anyone else have anything else they want to talk about, or management, anything you guys want to talk about? Three, two, one. All right, gang. Well, thank you for joining again on Friday. Thanks, Ian, for presenting this. Awesome job, awesome tool, and hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it,
Thanks, Ian.
Take care.
Yeah.
See y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.